Lee, thanks for joining us on Technical Corner MTD CNC. We're learning a lot more about what Starrag actually offer, but I've been to one of your customers actually a number of years ago about valve components, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But tell me a little bit about Starrag's involvement in machining valve components over the years, and what type of valves do you actually offer?
Well, Mark, thanks for inviting us again. There are many different types of valves on the market, but our focus has been predominantly in the energy markets to deliver solutions for valves from approximately, say, 200 millimeters long, 10 kilos, and we can go up to 10 meters and 200 tons should there be a valve this heavy. We sell into the market globally, mostly to energy and also to subsea customers, and usually for customers who are looking to optimize their manufacturing processes and reduce the cost of producing valves.
That's quite interesting when you're dealing with the energy markets and let's say the subsea, the oil markets. I know that they use a lot of different materials, but what are you actually cutting on a regular basis, and what challenges do you actually face in those market sectors?
Well, that's a really interesting question, and it varies. Some valves are manufactured from soft metals such as aluminium and brass, but we usually focus on harder materials. Cast iron's common, and then we really excel when we get into the realms of tough steels and sometimes titanium. Then there's duplex, super duplex, and Inconel, which really gets the adrenaline pumping in the applications engineering office.
Yeah, I can imagine. Obviously, devising a concept to actually machine that on a regular basis, that must be quite challenging for engineers. But could you tell us a little bit about the range of Starrag machines that suit valve production?
There's three main products to mention, really. There's for the smaller and medium-sized valves, we have our new mill turn machines from Heckert, such as the T45 machine, which can mill turn, drill, bore, skive, all in one setup. Or we manufacture a lot of valves on the DBF machine, which we've discussed with you guys recently on the technical corners. We can offer that solution in a 4 or 5 axis horizontal configuration, where we've got the integral U axis that's built into the spindle. Then for the larger valves, then we've got an extensive range of machines, vertical turning lathes from Dorries, which are very heavy duty cast iron machines, hydrostatic guideways. The live spindle is actually built inside the ram, so it's very short and rigid. We can exchange multiple heads for turning, milling, boring, grinding, for anything really. So components can be produced in minimal setups, but we achieve extremely high cutting data and productivity and accuracy. And we see much lower cutting vibration compared to other similar sized machines on the market as well. So for customers, it's all about quality and very high productivity.
And we've mentioned before in technical corners, and over the last 2 or 3 years, certainly in the UK, automation has become very key. Do you actually offer automation solutions for these valve processes?
Yeah, everybody's talking about automation these days. And on the Heckert machines, we have a standard pallet changer configurations. You're always milling a part whilst you're loading the part on the spare pallet. On the Dorries machines, we can either have a single table, or we can automate, and we can have setting tables. So again, you can set the parts off the machines, and we can move large parts using rail systems as well around the shop. So again, unmanned automation. And then we use robots to handle the tools if required. So we can load heads, we can load different tools, again, all automatically, any shape, any size. So this means customers have lots of options to choose from, and we really discuss solutions to fit their specific work environments.
And depending on the size of those valves, offering a automation solution is quite a sort of key part, I would imagine. But obviously Starrag pulls that off. But now I've known Starrag for well over 20 years, Lee, as you know. But the reputation of quality and performance that you have in the market is second to none, I must say. But what do Starrag's customers actually say in the valve market about you guys?
Well, after we discussed this the other day, I went away and had a look at some quotes and references. I wrote them down here. So just three short ones. These are from existing customers in the valve market. One that jumped out was Starrag impress us with their meticulous approach. Another one was this reduces the long machine times, as well as the costs, as well as the energy consumption, which is what we've just been discussing. And another one that jumped out was we have a very good experience with Starrag machines when it comes to quality, precision and service. And again, that's everything that we've been talking about this morning.
I have to reiterate that because when you took me to one of your customers up north a couple of years ago now, and looking at the complex valves that they were doing and the tooling solutions that you was offering with partnerships in the tooling market, those guys said, well, if you didn't bring it all together, we couldn't be manufacturing like this. But when you look at, if you had to summarize the benefits of your solutions for the valve markets in comparison to any competitors, what would be your message, Lee?
Well, lowest cost per part, as always. Very rigid machines that allow large cuts and thus reduce the machining time. Single setup machining with the capability to automate, and that can be the heads, the tools into the heads and the components themselves. Decades of know-how and experience specifically related to valve machining that we pass on to customers. Large machines that produce very profitable and accurate valves for decades, and then they can be retrofitted to give them a second life. So the return on investment is significant. And then on an ongoing basis, 24/7 service, spare parts centres and fixed cost service contracts with 95% availability packages. So you really can manage your own costs efficiently. You know what you're going to get back from the machine.
And when you look at the sectors like energy and subsea, for instance, these are critical parts, aren't they, Lee? They're not sort of throwaway items, and it just doesn't happen in this marketplace. So I think yet again, it just sort of brings the example of your philosophy at Starrag, engineering precisely what you value. Another great education. Thanks for your time, Lee.